So I noticed an issue I was having with the GT where I would pull out of the driveway and I could hear it rubbing in the fender wells with the tires. And the car is stock suspension, but here I have the car parked where it starts to rub. It's halfway out of the driveway and you can see that the fenders are digging into the tires. And at first I was wondering how this could be because of the stock suspension, but then I remembered that the car has two things going against it in this case. It has wheel spacers and it has taller sidewall tires than what it came with from the factory. So you could see it took a little chunk out of the tire there. That's really too bad. So I did take this piece of sheet metal and roll it into the fender so that would help. So I decided to go ahead and work on the car. It's nice to do it in the evening. It's been 110 here during the day or so, and the evenings it cools down. So I took the car out here in the evening and went ahead and took the wheels off the back and decided to remove those wheel spacers because I just don't really care for them. They don't really do anything for this car specifically. Here you can see the spacers. So what these basically do is they give you more space from the wheel out. They kick the tires out a little bit. They make the tires look wider and they add new studs. Here's a big chunk out of the tire there, but anyway, it'll be okay for driving around town and everything. But while the car was up in the air, I decided to go ahead and change back the fuel filter. This is the one that I put in it. It was from my Terminator. It was the only one I had on hand when I put the engine back in the car and it was having a problem running. And that issue was actually because the fuel line in the trunk by the fuel pump had a hole burst in it. And so it wasn't that filter, but I did need to try that and change the filter out. And the filter in the SN95 is like twice as thick as that one. It's way bigger. So it was actually giving me some startup issues now with the car. If it sat for a day or two and I go to start it, it would run really rough and it wasn't getting enough fuel for a second, and then it would slowly build fuel pressure. So I changed back to the filter that was in it and it starts right up. Everything's great. So I guess it really needs that other filter. And so I found a good use for the old brake rotors. I can use them for chocks for the wheels when I'm working on the car in the driveway, because my driveway does have a small slant to it, so that's nice. Those work out. I didn't want to throw them away, but they do still serve a purpose. Now, the exciting news is I decided to go ahead and take the GT after talking to a friend who runs a shop, and he said go ahead and bring it on up to the shop. And so here I am driving it at night. The car drives really good even with the knock. It knocks at certain RPM, but here's the shop my friend runs. It's a beautiful place, brand new, has a lot of stuff in there, lifts, everything. And he said, bring that GT up here and we'll put a new engine in it up here, because he actually teaches and he has students that are going to need to do that for a part of their curriculum. So the GT gets to go up to the shop here and they're going to pull the engine out, and he has a really nice 2-valve out of his Crown Vic that unfortunately got totaled, but it was a really nice one that he's taken good care of with low miles on it. So he said I could buy that 2-valve from him and we'll just go ahead and swap that engine over, and he's going to do it with his students, and that's really fun and exciting. So the car gets to do it in a shop, and I took some pictures of it as I left, and so that's the update. And Danny Johnson was nice enough to pick me up in his Denali and take me home. So that's the update for the 97 GT, and I'll try to go up there and get some footage of the car when it's being worked on, and that's really exciting, and it's nice to not have to do this all over again by myself, even though I could if I had to. But as far as things are going now, they're going to take care of it for me. So stay tuned for more updates on this car and the other stories and the other updates I'm doing on my other cars.